I'm Angela Stepp. Today's information will be rebroadcast here on WSOT TV at 5:30 p.m. and then again at 10:30 p.m. and additionally on Sunday, August the 30th at 10 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. Additionally, the information will be made available for you to view online through the various local media outlets. And I'd like to say a great big thank you to many of our local media, WBAT, the Chronicle Tribune, the News Herald, the City of Marion, and so many others that help to share this vital information. Now, joining us today first will be Grant County Commissioner Mark Bardsley. Welcome, Commissioner Bardsley.
Thank you. It's good to be with you again. And again, thank you to all our media partners that get this information out to us each and every week to keep us updated. I'm kind of standing in for Bob Jackson, our EMA director, who is not with us today. And the first thing he usually tells you is this is Operation Day 168, 168 days of sharing this COVID crisis together. And we still have more days ahead of us, but they look brighter. The future looks brighter, and we're happy about that. The Emergency Management Agency is continuing to work with the Department of Homeland Security, local and state health officials, public officials, as well as public safety, manufacturing, business, and the school systems to stay on top of this ongoing pandemic. Right now, the EMA office is focusing specifically on paperwork that gets back to the state so that we can recapture some of the expenses that the county and cities have put out regarding the COVID situation. Actually, we have asked for just a little under $200,000 right now just to start catching up with the expenses that were not thought of. In Grant County, we currently have a running total of 914 who have tested positive since March of this year, and we have capped right now at 30 deaths due to the COVID-19. Numbers seem to be steady, and I believe that's a good sign, and it's in part to our proactive response to get our PPE out, to take care of our community, continue to talk about what we need to be doing. Physical distancing, proper hygiene have helped us in this as well, and hopefully we will see numbers that continue to steady or steadily go down. State items of interest that you need to know about. The state has now tested 1,010,981 Hoosiers, finding that 88,000 have tested positive and 3,023 have lost their lives to this pandemic. Governor Holcomb will be having a press conference today at 2:30, and hopefully that will tell us a little bit more of how quickly we can move back to stage 5 and our normal. We don't know that that's going to happen within the next few weeks, but we're going to wait and see what the governor says today, and hopefully we'll have some more good news about moving us forward. With county items of interest, we are in fiscal year 2021 budget hearings. Tonight and tomorrow night, the county council is still working on those hearings. And if you would like to watch that on the internet, you can go to grantcounty.net and go to the council tab, and it'll tell you how you can get hooked into the internet to actually watch that in a virtual meeting. Also as well, we're going to hear in just a little while from Nancy Bryant about the Voter Center public meeting, and there's a way to watch that tomorrow night if you can't be there in person. And again, that's a tab that you can get on grantcounty.net in our news information. Hit on that information about Vote Grant County, and you can get that information. We want you to know that your Grant County team is working hard. First, we've been doing this since the beginning, how we can detect and this virus and do it through robust testing. We've done that a lot. There is still the opportunity for you to get free testing through Optum Health. You can go to the Optum internet website and sign up for that. We are still doing it at the Clarence Faulkner Center through the end of September. So if you're concerned about that, you can still be tested. We're still watching for clusters from large gatherings that have started up again. We've had festivals and other things that are going on, schools back in session, and we're continuing to monitor that as much as possible. Once we identify, then we trace and those cases to make sure that we close down the spread so that it doesn't continue to spread out. And we continue to protect Hoosiers returning to work and to business through the PPE, the masks, and the physical distancing. Question I'd like you to consider, and you can consider this a commercial break, I guess. Have you considered getting your flu shot this season? While the flu shot won't protect you from COVID, it's still a good idea. Most people older than 6 months old can and should get the flu vaccine. Maybe Dr. Moore will say some things about that. But doing so reduces the chances of getting the flu this season. And again, if you don't get the flu, if you have some antibodies built up, then your immune system is less likely to be attacked as well. So just a little food for thought. What's our strategy for the next 4 to 8 weeks? County-wise, we are continuing to assess trends and following recommended guidelines by the CDC. The CDC is starting to relax some of its requirements for travel to different states and outside the country. At one point, they were saying there's a need for a 14-day quarantine before you do business, and now they're relaxing that and saying that's probably not necessary or as necessary, just for you to be aware of. So we have plans for the county in case we do have a second surge or a second wave. We've been planning for that, as well as the plan to get to stage 5 and back to normal as quickly as possible. So what about you? Have you set out some goals and objectives for yourself and for your family over the next 4 to 8 weeks? Dr. Moore, at the beginning of this pandemic, kind of jokingly, but I think he was thinking all the time, if we get to Thanksgiving, we'll be doing all right. And he gave us something to shoot for. You and your family need something to be looking forward. Set some goals, set some objectives over the next 4 to 8 weeks. And as you check them off, say, I've accomplished this during this period. A couple of closing thoughts. Romans chapter 12, verse 18 says, if possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. And Romans chapter 14, verse 9 says, so let us then pursue what makes for peace and for mutual upbuilding. You know, it's easy to get frustrated during these times. We have been, some of us, cooped up for 160 days, 168 days. And so there's frustration. We're trying to move back to a normal place, but we've been confined. There's anxiety, there's agitation, and sometimes just downright discouragement. People are upset because they have to wear masks, or they're upset because other people aren't wearing masks. Others are invading your personal space, and you want to keep them back and away. It's getting on our nerves, and I'll be the first to admit, I've had some days where I was agitated, discouraged, or frustrated, but as much as possible, continue to build up peace and work with those around you, no matter what. My pastor reminded us, whatever your position is on masks, and we need to have a good position, but whatever your position is on masks, your disposition should be that of grace toward one another. And also remember, as much as we've come through, and we've come through a lot, our current reality is not our final destination. We're headed for bigger, better things. So as always, be steady, be strong, be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bardsley. And joining us next will be Grant County Elections Deputy Nancy Bryant. And as she joins us, I'd like to also share some information with you from the City of Marion. On Election Day this November, the city buses will be providing service. It's call ahead service. You need to call them 24 hours in advance, and they will come and pick you up and take you to one of the voting centers. The number that you need to call for that is a local number, area code 765-668-4445. And I'll share that again with you later in the broadcast so that you have time to get something to write it down. Nancy, thank you so much for coming back this week, and I would love to hear an update. I know there was a public hearing with information that you were going to be sharing information about. What is there new pertaining to this election season?
The county is looking to move to vote centers, going from our current 32 location precinct-based voting to 11 vote centers that would be accessible by all the residents in the county, no matter what town or your neighborhood. Tomorrow evening is our public meeting it'll give residents and voters a chance to ask questions, voice their concerns. That will be at College Wesleyan Church tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. We are also providing a virtual option for people who maybe can't attend. We've set up a website, votegrantcounty.net, for there's information. There's also a tab if anybody wants to put their comments. They're not online for others, but they will come directly to the office so that we can address them. And then, as Commissioner Bardsley said, grantcounty.net, our county website, this information with the link is also on there.
So today's broadcast that we are airing, this is Wednesday, August the 26th. So that public hearing that you were just referencing is going to take place on Thursday, August the 27th, 6 p.m. at College Wesleyan Church.
Yes.
And for folks who aren't sure where College Wesleyan is, can you give them a bearing as to where in the city of Marion that is?
It is located on 38th Street, and the actual address is 200 East 38th Street. So it's right on kind of the corner of Indiana Wesleyan's campus, corner of Washington and 38th Street.
It's very easy to find it. It sits right there. You really can't miss it. If you're at the intersection at that stoplight, you can find it. So I just want to make sure that everybody who wants to attend can do that. And again, you said virtually. How can they participate?
There are instructions both on the votegrantcounty.net and then from going through our grantcounty.net website. The same information is on there, and it will tell them how they need to. I believe we've done it WebEx in the past, but I believe the WebEx is being used because of the county budget hearings.
Okay.
So I believe it will be a Zoom option, which my understanding is they work very, very similar.
They do.
But the instructions will be online to tell voters how they can do that.
It's a very simple process. Often you can either, go in remotely with a device, a cell phone, a tablet, a computer.
Right.
They usually have call-in options too, where you can just use a
I
regular
believe, yes,
telephone
that
and
is true,
dial a
yes.
number, and anybody can do that. So is there anything else before I let you go that you'd like to share?
Maybe really quick. The information's out there, but just to give people an idea of the locations, the committee, was making sure that the vote centers being proposed were strategically placed around the county to provide access, in all directions around the county. We're proposing 4 sites in Marion, the YMCA, Calvary Social Brethren Church, which is on Miller Avenue, St. Paul Baptist Church on 14th Street, and Lakeview Wesleyan Church on Western Avenue. For the Gas City, Jonesboro area, we've selected Eastview Wesleyan Church in Gas City, and then Westview Wesleyan Church in Jonesboro. In Fairmount, in their Play Acres Park, their shelter building. Upland Matthews area, the Upland Community Church. In Sweetser, the Liberty Baptist Church. In Van Buren, the United Methodist Church Fellowship Hall. And some voters may recognize these because some of them are current polling locations. Obviously, there are several new ones. I'm not sure if the website's been updated yet because we just found this out, but Swayze United Methodist Church was our Swayze Converse location, and they had to back out for a lift/elevator issue that they're not sure will be taken care of by Election Day. So down the road, the address is actually South 800 West. There is a Swayze Church of the Nazarene that we are filling in close. For just practically just down the road a ways.
Yeah, if you can find one, you can see the other
exactly.
one. Exactly.
So just to give people an idea, those are the 11 places the center's being proposed. Also, as far as getting registered to vote, October the 5th is the deadline to register for this election. And we are currently accepting applications for people who want to vote by mail. We are in the process of putting the ballot together right now, and it will be ready to mail out beginning in mid-September. Our voter registration number is 664-9880, and the election office number is 668-7458.
Very good. Nancy Bryant, Elections Deputy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Me.
And we really appreciate you bringing that important information.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you who were interested in that phone number that I gave earlier, if you need assistance getting to one of those 11 voting centers that she mentioned, grab your pen and paper. I'm going to give you a phone number. You can call a local City of Marion bus, and they will give you transport to one of the voter centers on Election Day. Here is the phone number. It is 765-668-4445. Again, that's 765-668-4445. Give them a call 24 hours in advance, and they will schedule a pickup to get you to a voter center. Joining us next, I am happy to welcome Dr. David Moore of the Grant County Health Department. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here with you and with the citizens of Grant County.
Now, I understand we are making some pretty good progress as far as dealing with the COVID outbreak. The numbers are looking better than we have seen in a while.
We continue to do well with our numbers. The numbers are higher now than they were before things started to pick up again, but they have remained stable. The more important thing is that those serious ones, those that are in the hospital, in serious condition, and the deaths have completely stabilized through our community. Our citizens, the commissioner said 168 days, and it does seem like a really long time, but if we remember back then, there was panic and fear of something that was sweeping not only across our nation but across the globe, where people were getting sick and people were dying, and wondering to see what we can do and what we can do to make it better. We shut down the community, shut down the country, shut down the state, shut down our county, and we brought that under control. Then we started to move towards reopening America, reopening Indiana, to find a safe way to begin to open up our community and open up our county. We looked for a new normal so that we gradually look to see what ways can we loosen this up and get back out and find a way to be open, free, open our economy, open our social things, and to be safe and to continue to do that. And Grant County has done wonderfully well. When Indiana started to make a surge, as along with some of the other states, particularly in the south of our country, the governor instituted a mandatory mask order. And initially, there were lots of people who were not complying, lots of resistance. As I've seen around our state in the last few weeks, we've done much better. But what we've seen with that is that our numbers are going in the right direction, and our county has continued to do well. And very, very proud of the sacrifices that you've made. And we want to, even though we're doing well, we want to be more comfortable, but we don't want to get careless and irresponsible. And remember that we want to pay attention, follow the instructions that we're getting as we let the science guide us along the new way, and we'll continue to do well. And very pleased with that. The big thing that started a few weeks ago was the opening of our schools. And the schools have had a lot to deal with in a short period of time. And I'm very pleased and very proud of what our superintendents, our school nurses, our staff, and our students have done in safely as we possibly can, reopening our schools, taking good care of our students. And we'll continue to monitor that, continue to do that. But I'm very, very pleased and very, very proud of what we've done here in Grant County.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. We really appreciate you, and thank you for the steadfast commitment that you and your team have had to help our community to stay ahead of things and to do our best to deal with this difficult situation. And thank you for reminding us that we need to be diligent.
Thank you. And it has indeed been a team effort. It's been people coming together in Grant County. I couldn't be more proud.
So true. We thank you. Thank you. Joining us next, I will be welcoming Dr. Brad Lindsay. He is the superintendent for Marion Community Schools, and I think it's appropriate to have him follow Dr. Moore because, one of the things, Dr. Lindsay, that we always look forward to is hearing some good news that's happening within Marion Community Schools, and you also have to share that little bit of extra information, that COVID update within the school system. So you want to share that with us first, and then share some of that great news that I know we just can't wait to share with the folks.
Thank you, Angela. And praise be to God, our Heavenly Father, from whom all blessings flow. And boy, our Heavenly Father is blessing us. And here are just a few of the things I'd like to share of how our Heavenly Father is blessing us in Marion Community Schools. Our climate and our culture is just wonderful. I'm so thankful for our students and our teachers and our staff, administrators, and parents, because when you walk in any one of our schools right now, today or any time, it just feels like a culture of caring and love and kindness. The protocols and procedures, all the students and staff are cooperating and just bring such a peaceful order, just a great environment for learning. And of course, we're so excited. We love our Marion Giants. And so we're so excited to have them on campus or online, but it's so special to be able to connect. And so we're so excited for that. We ask for that continued spirit of cooperation, which we know. And you talked about the COVID updates. We keep our information for COVID and all important Marion Community Schools news updated on our Marion Community Schools website. So please check for accurate information. Check daily. COVID updates, but all the great, exciting news happening in Marion Community Schools is updated. You know, during this COVID, it really has shown us from March till now what's really, really important, not only caring for one another, but as we educate. You know, education is the economic engine for a community or for a city or for a country, for the world. And during this time right now, technology is essential. You know, today there's over 500,000 computer science technology-related jobs open in America today. What is a gap is the computer science certifications or degrees. So at Marion Community Schools, we're majoring in computer science, and I can't wait for you to hear from Dr. Travis Houston here coming up, and one of our outstanding students, Xander Tedder, coming up to talk about that. But technology and healthcare, and again at Marion Community Schools with our great science program and also our Grow Nursing program, and through Marion Regional Career Center, we've got that partnership with Indiana Wesleyan and the Grow Nursing program, partnership with local industries such as TLC, which is so awesome. But our computer science is growing, but so is our healthcare system. We're thankful for that. And then you have to have hands-on skills training. So that'd be welding or construction trades or HVAC or pre-engineering and drafting, graphic arts, all those kind of things that lead to advanced manufacturing. And again, when you look in America right now, technology, healthcare, advanced manufacturing, entrepreneurism, that's what we are majoring in and giving our students exciting opportunities. And so I want to continue to praise our Heavenly Father because that's where our protection, our favor, our wisdom come from. And I want to give our Heavenly Father credit because we ask Him for help. And now I'm excited for you to hear from Scott Hoeksma, our Chief Academic and Technology Officer, on an exciting $1 million grant for technology for our students and families in the city of Marion. And then I'm excited for you to hear from Dr. Travis Houston, an innovator leading our computer science and last year #1 ranked esports gaming in the state of Indiana, and Xander, because we've got exciting news. So please stay tuned.
Yes, and I'm excited to welcome Scott Hoeksma to share with us a little bit about that $1.1 million gear grant that you just received. Can you share with us a little bit about the gear grant? I understand that that is something that is state funded, and share with us a little bit about what that's going to allow the school system to do.
Yes, well, thank you, Angela, for the opportunity to share the update. As we've shared in the past, the governor's office and the Department of Education released the gear grant opportunity earlier this summer, and Marion Community Schools partnered with St. Paul Parish School in order to submit our grant application. We did hear exciting news just recently that we were awarded $1.1 million that we are able to use for technology. The focus of the grant was to be able to provide schools as they prepare for e-learning and more e-learning that was happening, the chance to look and focus on devices and on connectivity. And so as part of our grant proposal and our grant award, we are able to use that to purchase additional iPads as we continue to use those as our devices for our students. So again, all of our students, kindergarten through grade 12, have an iPad available for them to use, and we'll continue that moving forward. But the biggest focus we wanted to provide, especially as we look at e-learning, is that connectivity piece. Knowing that some of our families are going home and not having direct email or connectivity in internet in their homes. So we want to make sure that we are providing opportunities for our families to be able to connect well. And so we are looking at 3 different things with our connectivity piece. As we've shared in the past, all of our campuses have Wi-Fi available around them. So if you pull into our parking lot, if you get close to one of our buildings, you will be able to access that. But we want to expand that and make that even better around our campuses. We also want to have the portability available for if we need to take a bus to an area and we're going to have an event there, we can provide Wi-Fi access there. Also excited to be able to, when our teams are traveling, when our athletic teams or our academic teams are traveling and they have homework or things they want to do during a long bus travel, they will have that accessibility as well. The biggest piece and the most benefit that our city will be able to see is we are going to be creating 36 connectivity centers across the city. So what we did when we looked at the grant proposal, we divided the city into 9 different quadrants. And in each of those quadrants, we want to provide 4 connectivity centers that will be available. So a connectivity center would be just like coming up to one of our school buildings. You'll come up to this area that has that, whether it be a local church or whether it be another organization that we partner with. And as you get there, the students will be able to bring their device there. They will be able to connect to our internet, to our network. It'll be a filtered network that they'll be able to connect to. They'll be able to download any videos or any resources that the teachers have set aside for them. They will be able to connect with Google Meet with our families on that. And so with our teachers on that. And so we want to make sure that we are providing our students and families every opportunity, if they don't have Wi-Fi in their home, to have something close to them so that they could do a short walk or short drive to get to one of these locations and be able to connect with all of the wonderful things that are happening in their classrooms here in Marion Community Schools. So we're very excited about that opportunity to be able to utilize those funds to enhance the technology opportunities and the connectivity opportunities we have for our families here in Marion. And we're excited to be able to continue to move forward with this project.
That is some very exciting news. So if I understood all of that correctly, basically you're creating your very own Wi-Fi network dedicated just for students. That is going to be something that is not only blanketing the city of Marion with those 36 different centers of connectivity, but also something that is transportable. So students traveling on a school bus, like you mentioned, to a game or an athletic event or some other event, they can do their homework in transit. Whereas before they couldn't. They had to wait until after the event to go home and maybe put some late night hours of study in to get ready for that next day. This is outstanding. Folks, I hope you understand just how innovative and what an incredible opportunity this is. I'm just curious, Scott, I'm going to ask you off the top of your head, how many other communities out there have this sort of network available?
At this point, I'm not aware of others that are, and just wanted to provide one quick clarification for that. The connectivity centers, the 36 that we have, will provide area around, in a radius around that, in an area around that location. Not necessarily going to be everywhere, so the whole city is not going to be covered with that, but we will be able to provide in those 36 areas, those 36 connection centers, connectivity for our students to be able to connect to. So we're very excited about that opportunity. It allows our students and families, if they don't have immediate access to internet, to not have to travel to one of our campuses, which may be a little bit longer of a travel, but to have something very close to their home in the different areas in the city. So very excited about that opportunity for our kids.
I'm very excited. I can't wait to hear once that's up and running. Do you have a timeline on that? I know this is all brand new and it's probably too early to ask, but I'm going to anyway. Do you know when that's going to be completed?
We are starting to order the materials and hardware that we need for that. Our hope is between September, October, we will be able to start rolling some of those out. Our goal is to have everything in place by November, Thanksgiving at the latest, but our hope is that we can get it out much sooner than that, and then just start to make those community partnerships and that relationships. And that's what we're excited about, is it gives Marion a chance to continue to partner and to continue to build relationships with our community and with our different organizations in here, with churches and everything. So we are very excited about that additional piece, as well as the technology that we're able to offer.
This is going to make the lives of families and students so much better. And again, Marion Giants are leading the way in technology. Thank you, Scott Hoaxman. Appreciate you coming on. Joining us next, we will have Dr. Travis Houston. He is going to be sharing with us some more great news, and I cannot believe the outstanding accomplishments and the recognition that Marion Community Schools is receiving. Now, I want to make sure that I get this right. Marion Regional Career Center has been chosen as an Amazon Future Engineer School. Yep, you heard me right, an Amazon Future Engineer School. And as I understand it, Dr. Houston, that program is something that was developed to help underrepresented schools to be able to excel in the areas of computer science and IT. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Would you share with us a little bit about what this newly awarded designation means?
So our partnership with Amazon started several years ago from a field trip to one of their fulfillment centers in Jeffersonville, Indiana, and it's grown substantially from there. And so I applied for this grant or designation, and the program allows us to offer a full curriculum of advanced placement or AP computer science programs to the students in our courses. And it provides a full curriculum that's both in class and online for our students who are e-learning. It provides professional development for the teachers, some recruitment resources for that, career connections for the students so they get to talk with people who are already working in the field, whether that's in person or virtually at the moment, and then some hands-on experience in the actual industry itself.
Who can participate in this program?
So our computer science program is open to students in the high school, and then we also serve all the students from the county schools at the Career Center too. So the students at Oak Hill and Mississinawa and Eastbrook, and I actually have a few in my class from outside of the county also.
So just to make that even more clear for folks who are watching, now if you have a student, a child, a grandchild, niece, nephew that happen to be attending a county school, not Marion Community Schools, but they would be interested in participating in the Marion Regional Career Center program, they have the opportunity to do that. So if this is something that you think that your student, your child would benefit from participating in, then you need to look seriously into this opportunity. Dr. Houston, how would people find out more information about the program and enrollment?
So they can find out more information by going to the Marion Community Schools website. There's a link to the Marion Regional Career Center from there, and they can find my contact information on that website also. I'd like to mention that our computer science programs, we're trying to be global giants.
Yes.
And we have several students who are in the honors program at Purdue and IU. And on average, a computer science major can earn, 40% more than any other career. So it's important that we continue, this path forward to become global giants.
I fully support that. And speaking of future global giant, you have brought a student with you today.
I have.
Who did you bring?
I brought Xander Tedder today, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about the program.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll bring him on. We're going to bring Xander Tedder on. He is a student at Marion Community Schools, and he is also participating within the Marion Regional Career Center program as well. Xander, welcome.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Glad that you're here. Now, this is brand new, but I understand you do have a little bit of knowledge about this new program. Are you so excited about this new designation?
Yeah, it's very interesting, because it lets students do more with engineering and programming and all that, and it can, teach them more.
How do you see, as a student yourself, how do you see this benefiting you and maybe some of your other classmates?
Well, it benefits me and other students because we can go in person or virtually for other people that are interested in computer science and all that. It gives us the ability to make contact with Amazon engineers, and it gives us the opportunity to also take field trips to different fulfillment centers that they have.
And they do have a number of fulfillment centers, and being able to have that one-on-one interaction with the Amazon engineers, that's pretty valuable, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, very.
So now I understand that there are some other benefits that go along with this program, and I believe, is there some internship or scholarship opportunities? Do you have any information about that?
Yeah, so there's different scholarships available up to $10,000 a year for undergrad studies in computer science and many different programs that they offer as well for the program. And they also have paid summer internships that you could apply for.
Very good. So basically, you would recommend this program for other students who might be interested in getting involved in computer sciences?
Definitely. I would definitely recommend this.
Very good. Well, Xander Tedder, thank you so much for coming onto the Community Update and sharing a little bit of perspective from a student's view. I appreciate that.
I appreciate coming here.
Thank you. And joining us next, we will have Mr. Steve Wright. He is the Interim Executive Director for the Grant County Family YMCA. And Mr. Wright, we have missed you here on the Update. We are so glad that you are back.
Well, let me tell you, Angela, I am glad to be back, and I'm glad to feel the way I do today, and I'm glad to have a voice again because it was a tough go. We'll talk a little bit about that, but let's start out with the Y and what all's going down at the Y right now. And we've got some classes coming up that I just wanted to make sure that that you were aware of. Biddy Track and Field, and you may say what that is. This is a program for ages 3 to 5. Now, can you imagine 3 to 5-year-old kids running track and field? It's a pretty fun thing. Program will run on Saturday starting September 5th from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And this year we will have IWU athletes actually working with and volunteering to help teach the kiddos the basics of track and field. Kids will learn the fundamentals of track and field, including mini hurdles, 3 to 5, right? Softball throw, javelin throw, and frisbee, while also learning teamwork. And I think that's a key thing that we're trying to drive into young people is to work as a team and not as an individual. So last day, weather permitting, we will do a track meet that everybody's invited to in the field next to the Y and give out free spots to those in attending. Registration is only $15 for members and $25 for non-members. So Biddy, Track, and Field. The next thing is Coaches Quarterback Youth Football. This program's for kindergarten through 3rd grade, and the program will run on Saturdays starting September 12th and go through October 24th. Practices are Saturdays 9 to 9:30, and games will follow at 9:30 to 10:45. I know a lot of times, you got to practice on a weeknight or something like that. We're running them through, so you'll just be there for one day. Flag football will be held at Matter Park this season and the field behind the softball diamonds. And flag football is a great way for your son or daughter to learn the fundamentals of football while also learning our core values of caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Kids will get a football themselves and receive a T-shirt. So registration is only $25 for members and $40 for non-members. So those are some classes that's coming up. Some other classes coming up in September will be some more swim classes. Just make sure you go to the website at grantcountyyMCA.org and make sure you go ahead and take a look at what all we have. But Angela, the last thing I want to talk a little bit about is the experience I just went through, and quite an experience. This whole program was actually designed to talk about what was actually going on in Grant County with COVID.
Right, this community update came about because of it.
Absolutely. And I never in my wildest dreams would I have thought I would have got it, and I did. And so the journey started around July 15th when I got some information back that I tested positive, and then it went downhill from there. And so the big thing is, I'm not going to talk necessarily about me. I want to talk about people who really helped me. I can't thank Dr. Moore enough. By going to all these broadcasts and things, I mean, I knew it was real, but boy, when you get it yourself, you find out it's real. And so Dr. Moore kind of worked with me a little bit. I had planned to take a vacation with my kids and grandkids. When I tested positive, I called Dr. Moore and said, hey, what do you think I should do? And we talked through, all the different things that he would recommend. And I said, well, I'm going on vacation next week. And he looked at me and he said, are you sure that's what you want to do? And kind of putting a little bit of a guilt trip on me, right? So I, after listening to him and thinking about my kids and grandkids who were going to go with me, that was putting dates, how many days, it started out at 188 days till we go to Florida. And I ended up having to actually cancel that with my kids and grandkids. But if I would have not done that, I would have got into problems, and I would have been down in Florida where I didn't have my local doctor, local hospital. I would have been down there not knowing anyone. So I can't thank Dr. Moore enough. So when he gets up here and speaks of how real this is, I want you to know it is real. you can get it. And I hope if you do, you don't end up like I did 5 days in the hospital with it. Went in with 104.4 fever. My body temperature dropped out and went down into the mid 80s, and they had to bring my body temperature back up. It was 12 hours of just sweating and freezing and sweating and freezing. And in the emergency room when I was there, I actually told my wife where the life insurance policies were, because I wanted her to know that if something did happen to me, where to go and what to do. That's how serious it was, and that's how serious it is, and it can be for you. Hopefully, if you get it, you're just going to be asymptomatic, like a lot of people are. I mean, we've had a lot of people just asymptomatic. Yes, you test positive. You got to do the 14-day quarantine and so on and so forth. I've been fighting this for 5 weeks, and this is my first week back. And do 5 weeks of quarantine when you're used to being out in the field like I am and talking to a lot of people. I missed people. That was the biggest thing. But I will say this about people. There was a prayer vigil for me that
a lot of folks came together to show some love
Yep.
at the hospital when you were there.
Yep.
And just to lift you up
Yeah.
to God in prayer.
And so the people down at the Y, I want to thank Libby Root for what she did in coordinating that from the Y and stuff, and pretty good sized crowd come in on that. My daughter did Facebook updates, because I tell you, the last thing I wanted to do was answer a text or my phone or post on Facebook. That I didn't even want the TV on for so many days. I mean, I just wanted quiet and just leave me alone, and you know. So anyway, long story short, Dr. Bragg is my family doctor. I can't thank him enough for what he did. And then the big shout out is the Marion General Hospital. I went in the emergency room as an in and out patient 5 days before I actually went in. I got a breathing treatment type device, as well as some prescriptions that they gave me. Tried to fight that off for about 4 days, and one of the things they told me, don't mess with this. This can get bad, and we're seeing kind of symptoms of that. So don't, if you get feeling worse, you come back. Sure enough, I did. And I went in with 104.4 fever, and they were able to get that down in the emergency room to about 102. And I go upstairs, and like I say, my temperature bottomed out. So every nurse that came into my room showed compassion, the best bedside manners that I could ever ask for. I knew that they cared. And the biggest thing that they did was, on their way out, they would actually say, is there anything else I can get you or that you need? Every one of them, including the doctors. That's a culture. And I can't thank enough of the leadership at Marion General Hospital for what they're doing with all their people, and what great people they have at the hospital, and all the things that they're doing. I did have the remdesivir treatment, as well as the plasma treatment that I had to sign a document on. I guess now that the president has declared that's a treatment that they can go ahead and give. I had to sign off because at that time it wasn't, and because they didn't know the outcome of it at the time. Marion General Hospital has been working with Mayo Clinic on this remdesivir, as well as the blood plasma treatment and stuff. So when I went in, they knew exactly the direction they were heading. The whole team that was working with me did that. But again, going back to the staff, these staff members are working in that COVID area, and that's the only place they're working. They're working 12-hour days. Every time that they go into a patient's room, they have to gown up. They come in. They perform their procedure, what they're going to do, and then before they leave, that's the question that they would ask me, if there was anything else I do that needed, and then they would have to take off their gowns, their PPE, and then go regown, head into the next room. And not one time did I ever hear a complaint from anyone. They're working 12-hour days. They're away from their family. Can they take the virus home to their family? I never heard any complaints like that. And again, that's a culture that I think needs to be in every business. How do we take care of people? And that's what Marion General Hospital did. And then the last thing I want to say is all the prayer people that was out praying for me. just incredible. I've never had that. The last time I was in the hospital was I was 3 months old with an appendix out. And so I'd never experienced anything like this before. And my daughter, Stacy, she would post on Facebook what was going on, and just the outpouring of everyone and knowing that people cared was an incredible thing for me that helped me get through this whole thing. And the last thing I'll say, one of the best calls that I had was from a friend of mine that we were teenager friends. He decided to become a preacher boy and went off to school and did that, and now is a missionary down in Costa Rica. And he gave me a call, and we talked for about a half an hour. And I'm thinking, wow, I just can't believe the outpouring. So I want to thank everybody. If you prayed for me, I can't thank you enough. I'm praying for everybody that I'm seeing on Facebook that's asking for prayer. Now it means more than ever because that's what I went through. And so I just can't thank you enough for what you did. And I'm looking forward to kind of getting back up to speed and getting the things done that I love to do. I love my community, love the Y and what we're doing down there and really helping people. And I thank you, Angela, for giving me this time.
Steve, we sincerely are grateful for all that you have done to help out here within the television ministry here at Sunnycrest Baptist Church, and genuinely grateful that you are better.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, as we conclude today's broadcast, I want to remind you again of that phone number I gave earlier, and that is if you would like to vote on or around Election Day, the City of Marion is offering call-ahead bus transit to the voter centers, and the number that you need to call, if you have a pen and paper ready, I'll give that here in just a minute. Call it 24 hours in advance, and then they'll make sure to come pick you up and take you to a voter center. That number is 765-668-4445. Again, 765-668-4445. Well, today's information will be rebroadcast here on WSOT-TV at 5:30 p.m. and again at 10:30 p.m. and also on Sunday, August the 30th at 10 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. That's all the time that we have for today. We'll go back to our regular scheduled programming. Thanks for watching.